Hey guys, Tim from the gym back again. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize. I know it's been over a week since I posted a video. I've had a lot going on. I set up an office in my home so I can record from here. And honestly, was having a little difficulty deciding which topic I should address first because you guys have been pouring in the requests. And I love that. Keep it coming. I will get to each and every one of you. It'll take a little time, as you know. So today's is going to be all about how to design a workout by yourself, specifically for your goal. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. All right, guys, the very first thing you need to figure out before you even begin to start designing your exercise program is going to be your goal. Right? After you know your goal, you then know how to make a program based upon that goal. So if your goal is weight loss or toning and conditioning, or you're trying to put on a lot of muscle mass or get that 1 rep max higher, whatever your goal is going to completely determine what your workout looks like versus something else. So after you know your goal, your next step is schedules. Right, so when I say scheduling, what we're actually talking about here, guys, isn't just the amount of time you can devote to the gym or what times of the day you'll go. More importantly, I would focus more on how many days a week can you commit. After you know how many days a week, you can then break your week up into muscle groups or different exercises that you're going to be doing on those specific days. So it's important to know how many days can you push for. Some workout programs do 2-a-days. Some are 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week. Just know what your goal is and plan it accordingly based on that. I will do more in-depth on that subject later on for each specific goal. Today we're just keeping it simple. So after we know our schedule, our final step is determining how many sets and reps we need to be doing, guys. Now with that, I'm also going to mention you probably should make note of exercises. So not just sets and reps. If you don't know what the sets and reps are, a quick overview. Let's take a bicep curl, for example. When I'm doing a bicep curl, that's going to be 1 rep, 2 reps, 3 reps. Now a collection of those, the number I'm trying to get to, that's going to be my set. So reps, sets. Got that established? Now the exercise part, after you know how many sets and reps, pick how many exercises. So if you're doing 3 different exercises for a muscle group, I would suggest 3 to 4 sets per exercise minimum to achieve a realistic goal. Now that will vary a little based on how many times you're going to hit that muscle a week. If you're only going 1 time a week, you're probably going to be looking a little more at like, hey, let's wear and tear that muscle down. We'll do 4 or 5 exercises and we're going to do 16 to 20 sets. That's all dependent on your schedule. So again, know that schedule before proceeding. Determining your rep range plays a much larger role than you might realize. Why do some people go to the gym and they're only lifting like a bunch of weight a few times versus some people are just repping it out all day? Let's talk about that for a minute. So we'll start over here. This is a list of some varying different goals. So you can review it for a second, figure out which one looks more like what you're trying to do. And maybe there's a mix, and there's nothing wrong with mixing these depending upon how you do it. So starting first, we got mass and power. If your goal is to put on actual size, muscle mass, get bulkier, increase your 1 rep max on a bench or powerlifting, for example, this is going to be your friend. And what you're going to want to look like for your rep ranges is going to be right here. 4 to 8 reps. The reason that works so well for building actual mass, when you do 4 to 8 reps, your body is going to have to, it'll still use the same muscles depending upon what exercise you pick, but it's going to have to recruit more muscle fibers. Now, the muscle fibers engaged to do these super heavy lifts are going to be significantly more than all these other ones. You think about when you look at a heavy object, there's a subconscious link in your mind that's going to say, hey, I need all the help I can get. It's all or nothing. It's going to engage every muscle fiber in that muscle to pick up a weight. That is awesome for building mass because every muscle fiber is getting torn down all at once. So when you do rebuild and repair on your rest days, You come back just bigger, you come back stronger, but that's an overall picture, right? Now, if your goal is strength, definition, lean mass, which is what I'm all about, your goal is going to be right here. You want a good solid 9 to 12 repetitions per set, right? And why that is so different than mass training is you're going to engage fewer muscle fibers, but you're going to work them more repeatedly, right? You're going to hit them over and over and over, and those muscles in turn are going to become more defined faster because there's not so much getting in the way. It is slower to gain mass, but you will also gain mass like this if you do it properly, right? Rest up on those rest days. Get your protein in. Keep the diet nice and clean, right? And if your goal is over here, fat loss, weight loss, and toning, this is going to be your friend right here. You want to do 15 and up, guys. 15 and up is a really solid way to get that fat burn initiated. Like if you did a cardio warm-up, for example, or something of that nature. Like any cardio, your heart rate's going to be accelerated. That's the whole goal of cardio in order to burn fat, right? So if we're doing 15 plus reps, regardless of the exercise, your body's preparing for endurance, right? You're building up that endurance in the muscles. The heart rate is going to stay engaged the whole entire time. So that in turn will help with the fat loss, which will make you also drop your weight because the whole time, your whole workout, you're just blasting the fat off. And it is good for toning because you're building a nice solid foundation in each muscle group. That's significant because if all you do is run all the time, what's happening with your, other muscle groups that are getting neglected in that process? So doing a full body workout but keeping the reps higher will kind of help you tone up all the way around your body and burn fat everywhere. So now that we've discussed the amount of reps we should be doing for our desired goal, it's also important to mention how many sets of each exercise you should do, how many total sets per muscle group rather. So let's talk about each muscle group. If you only have 1 day a week to dedicate per muscle group, you're probably going to be in the gym darn near every day. Now, that's good and bad. Your muscles do have plenty of time to rest in between because let's say you have your chest day. The next time you're going to have a chest day is a good solid week away. So every muscle group you do, you have a solid week to recover from it. So that is really beneficial for bulking and building mass, but also pretty nice if you're brand new to fitness. If you're just now hitting the gym, you're going to experience some pretty intense soreness when you go hard on your workouts. So giving yourself a little extra time to recover is not too bad of an idea in the beginning. As your body adapts, you could probably bump that number up though. So if your goal was this right here, or you can only fit in 1 day, you need to really tear that muscle down when you hit it. You want the most beneficial result possible in that one workout. So we're going to be shooting for very, very high amounts of sets. We're going to be looking at 16 to 20 sets or even more than that per muscle group. You're going to want to completely exhaust that muscle in that gym and give it ample time to recover and build up. So if your goal is more towards lean mass, getting that definition, and it's honestly my personal favorite, 2 times per week is a really, really solid idea, but you'll notice in order to pull that off effectively, you're probably going to need a couple muscle groups together. You don't have a full day to dedicate to each muscle group if you're trying to hit them all twice a week. So pair them together, decide if you're going to do push and pull like chest and tris, back and bis. If you're going to do antagonists like bis and tris, chest and back. Decide what you're going to do ahead of time and then plan your workout accordingly. Make sure to include at least 1 rest day if you're going to be taking this method, guys. So your set range will be a little less because you're going to be hitting it twice that week and you get a little less time to recover. So we're going to shoot more towards 12 to 16. And that 16 is kind of pushing it. So this would mean you're probably doing 3 to 4 exercises versus over here you're probably doing 4 to 5 exercises at a good solid 4 sets or so. So I strongly recommend 3 to 4 sets as a good solid range. In special circumstances or using advanced training techniques, you probably boost that number up. But that's a whole nother conversation. So if your goal was weight loss and fat loss, and you have 3 or more times per week that you're able to hit each muscle group, Weight loss and fat loss is a unique animal because you can actually engage the full body on a pretty regular basis. You can hit the full body workout a good 3, 4, 5 times a week. Definitely give yourself at least 2 rest days if you're doing this. But the downside is you're going to need to cut the set number down. Your body doesn't have nearly as much time to recover, but you are training it for endurance. So it doesn't need quite as much time, but you shouldn't go as hard as you're going to go over here on these ones. So your set count in turn is going to go down, right? So for each muscle group, probably look for 8 to 12 sets per muscle. I wouldn't exceed that. That 12 might even be pushing it. Just use your best judgment. Listen to your body on that matter. But that is a good solid breakdown of what you should be doing for each goals. Alright guys, I really appreciate you watching this video. I sincerely hope you found it helpful. As always, remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment below if you have any questions, concerns, feedback you have for me, requests for future videos, anything at all. I do hope this answered a lot of questions for a lot of you. I know especially if you're new to the gym, new to working out, not sure what to do, this is going to be your best friend. Now, in future videos, it's going to have to be a little later on, so bear with me on that. But I'll break down specific goals and give you advanced training techniques and specific exercises you can use to break those down. So, thanks for watching again, guys, and I will see you next time.